Okay, fam, here's the thing. This sim here, this is Mom. She's about to become a young adult, and she is about to become our Generation 2 legacy heir in my key family short lifespan legacy challenge. So, here's the thing. She's a spellcaster. She needs a house. We need somewhere to live. We better build her a house. So, let's work out how much money we've got to work with. We have about 21,000 here, and this house is currently worth 79,868 simoleons. So, that gives us about 100k to work with. Now, I don't really want to go for the full 100k. If I can avoid it, I'd like to go a little less than that, but we'll see how we go. Okay, so she wants to be a spellcaster. Obviously, there's only one place to go. Where do all spellcasters go? None other than Glimmerbrook, the world that came with Realm of Magic. Now, the builds in this world, they're pretty notorious for not being that great, but that's okay because we're going to build our own house. We're going to build on this lot right here. So, what are we going to build, you ask? Well, I don't really know. I don't know what we're going to build yet, but we've got a nice blank lot to work with a beautiful outlook. I guess all that's left to do is to just get started and keep track of the value. Okay, well, without further ado, let's just get going. So first things first, we got to work out what we're actually going to build. I tossed up whether or not I wanted to build something that really matched the other houses in the world, which was a little bit more refined, a little bit more like formal type houses. So I started working on a shape for them. This was my second attempt at working out a shape for this house. I wanted to go for something a little bit quirky. So obviously you can see straight away it's very, very different from the house that our key family lives in right now. But yeah, I wanted to go, I kind of ended up leaning more towards a Tudor style build, what I originally was going to go for, which matched a little bit better with the world. But I think given the surroundings and the settings of this house, it feels very almost foresty. It kind of feels like you could go kind of cottagey with this as well, which I kind of took a little bit of liberty with. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to do it. I think this looks great. You can see me working on the back now. Fun little fact for you. I end up liking the back better than the front. So I end up turning the whole house around and using the back as the front. But yeah, I played a lot with like the overhanging, which is quite common architecture for a Tudor style build, but I was also trying to be mindful of the value of this lot. So off the top of my head right now, I can't tell you if I actually managed to stay in budget, which scares me a little bit. Yeah, so I'm keeping in mind when I'm building this house that our family will be moving with us. So we have Mon, obviously, who's going to be our Gen 2 heir, will be needing a bedroom. Mon's mums, McKinley and Dina, are very much still with us. They're not even elders yet. So they are also going to need a bedroom to sleep in. And our younger sister, Mia, is also with us. And she's going to need a bedroom to sleep in until she becomes a young adult. So that is at least 3 bedrooms. Now, we do plan to have at least one child with Mon, because otherwise our legacy is not going to go anywhere if we don't have a child. So we need to consider that. Now, my thought was we're probably not going to have a child before Mia ages up and moves out. So I'm thinking that we will just repurpose Mia's bedroom into the kids' room, which is what I'm sort of going for at this stage. Given our budget, probably looking at about a 3-bedroom home. I end up getting a study downstairs, which can easily be converted into a 4th bedroom if necessary. Yeah, there's a lot of options. So you can see me here. I played around a lot with the paneling that comes in Get Together, really going for that kind of Tudor style, cottagey type vibe. I think it looks really, really good. I love that paneling. It comes together so nicely when you use all the different swatches that they have of all the different, like, you know, some of the panelings have like the cross patterns and, you know, I just think it looks so cool. I ended up going for a thatched roof, which I got from Cottage Living, which sort of just played on that kind of cottagey vibe. Like I said, it doesn't really go with the rest of the world. But then I also thought this family's kind of quirky. They kind of stand out. They wouldn't really care if their house matched. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, we're working on some of the landscaping at this point, trying to work out a terrain paint that I can make match with the flooring that they have meeting up to this lot. Now, this is one of the very few lots in all of the Sims worlds that actually meets up with the edge of like a road or like textured surface, not just like plonked in the middle of like a grass field. So it's actually nice to be able to utilize that. However, Sims being the Sims does not give us matching terrain paint to what they use out in the world, so we have to try and make do. Okay, so I am working now on the floor plan. Now, you can see me trying to get an attic in here, and that is because I had an idea for a little bit of extra fun to go in the attic. Now, I am not going to tell you what that is because we're going to turn it into a surprise. Now, I wasn't originally going to have it as a surprise, but turns out the recording actually didn't work for when I was building that particular piece. So we're not going to get to see it in the speed build. So I figured let's just make it a surprise little attic space. You can probably guess what it's going to be. We're building a spellcaster house. But no, I don't know what you're talking about. It's a complete surprise. I don't know what you're going about. So yeah, now I'm messing around with the roof because I've turned it into an attic. I need to build the roofs up so that they join again, but they're all now in separate pieces so that they don't clip in the attic. So it is a little bit of a tiresome job, particularly with me working with like all the sloped roof texture, like roofs. I went for like all those like curvy type, more organic style roofs, which look really, really good for this style of house. But boy, are they a nightmare to join together, like what I'm doing right here. Obviously, I managed to work it out, but it takes me a little while. You can see me checking now for all the bits that are sort of like clipping, things that I can try and fix and all that sort of stuff. So we get there. We get there. It takes a bit, but we get there. Alrighty, so now we're working on a floor plan, and I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to lay this out. I wanted this build to feel cozy. I think I was really going for something that was different, like every kind of different than the house that they live in right now, which is very modern, very industrial, very spacious, this old sort of like renovated warehouse type vibe, which is very much McKinley and Dina, and it matches their vibes a lot. But with Mon, she's a spellcaster, so we are going for something very different, and I really wanted to embrace that. So I just wanted to keep things cozy. So I think I managed that pretty well. Obviously, all this attic area that I'm like, ooh, secret attic space. If we end up having more children, I can always look at reutilizing that attic space as like more bedrooms and stuff as well. But at this point, that is not the plan. We are definitely going, well, as you can see where I put the stairs, it's actually off of one of the bedrooms. Like the upstairs is accessed through one of the bedrooms, which is actually going to be Mom's bedroom. It's the main bedroom. So I will have to rethink the floor plan a little bit if I need to reuse them and repurpose them, but we can do that if necessary. I'm not too worried about it. So yeah, we're just starting on some windows. I struggled with the windows for this build. I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. I really liked the stained glass windows that came with Get Together. They're just so cute, you know, like I just think that they look so nice, but they are hard to use. Obviously they come with very certain color swatches. So if you want to get the one with the wood that matches the other windows, you're stuck with the swatches that come in that stained glass. I think I managed to make it work okay. I think that the stained glass color that we came with, we got lucky with. I think it looks pretty good. I am genuinely really happy with how this house turned out. It is not at all what I originally planned to build for her, and it sort of just evolved and it became what it is now. And there's still plenty of room for even more evolution, you know, like we don't have a basement. I can always add a basement. I did discuss in the last episode the possibility of maybe getting a business, running a business with the new businesses and hobbies pack. So if we're going to do that, we need to work out where that business is going to be, if it's going to be on our lot, if it's going to be on a different lot, all those sorts of things. Depends on how the pack works. This is a very cozy kind of vibe. We're moving on to sort of the basic furnishing now. I was trying to work out a color scheme that I wanted to go for. With Mon, at this moment, her bedroom at her mum's house is very dark and moody and like sort of purples and blues, and I originally thought I was going to go with that, but then I found a particular rug and the whole color scheme comes off that rug. So we're outside again now in debug, trying to landscape and work out how I want to landscape this. Now, I do a lot of ivy and stuff on this house. I go a little bit out of control, actually, with the ivy, but I'm pretty happy with how it turns out. It is very overgrown, which is sort of what I wanted. I just think that, like, it just feels whimsical. You know, the plants, the big plants, the ivy growing up, I think it just works really well. I definitely am not the strongest at landscaping. I think I say this all the time, but yeah, I really struggle to landscape. I really want to be so good at it, you know, like I really enjoy doing it, but obviously I'm no landscaper. I'm no professional landscaper. I don't really know what I'm doing. So I'm sort of just playing around, making sort of little clusters of bushes. I pulled these little mushrooms out of the Realm of Magic debugs. I thought they were really cute and whimsical, and I thought they looked really good. Yeah, I tend to sort of just pick spots, and I do like a low-lying plant and then sort of put bigger bushes on top of that, and then sort of bring in some rocks and things. Yeah, like I said, I'm no professional when it comes to landscaping. I'm no professional when it comes to building at all. So I just sort of try my best and see what I can do. And I'm pretty happy with how this turned out, particularly on houses that are for like my particular gameplay. I find that I'm much harder on myself, first of all, with how I do it. I end up being like super picky with how I decorate them, but I also leave them quite open-ended. So because I'm going to be playing with this family, you know, things could come up, like I said, like, you know, children and potential small businesses, anything could happen. So I leave them kind of a little bit open-ended, and there's options for expansion or, you know, to redo things. And if this house stops working for us halfway through the generation, then maybe I'll build her a new one. I don't know. But at this stage, I'm really happy with it. I think it works really well for us. Much smaller than what we previously had. I really like it. I think this feels much more appropriate to sort of like the kind of house that you would see in a Generation 2 of a Legacy. I think what we managed to achieve with Gen 1 and the size of the build, pretty impressive actually, given the amount that they were able to save. And yeah, I definitely had a lot of fun with this. Like, you can see me still working on the vines. I bought in the wisteria from Cottage Living. This is all in the Cottage Living debug, these wisteria pieces. And they're very hard to place, particularly debug landscaping in itself. Debug anything is quite hard to place, but I think I do okay. There's a few bits that sort of like clip through the house that I end up just sort of like dealing with and just trying to like cover up, because I think I loved how it looked on the outside, so I was like, we're just going to have to make it work. Yeah, this cottage to me feels like it's been here for a long time. And it's, you know, if anything, you know how I said that it wasn't quite the same as like the other styles of builds that were in the world? If anything, this cottage was here first, and the other builds have been built later, and they're a bit more like modern and sophisticated, and this is sort of like one of those original kind of style buildings and houses that sort of just still hanging out, you know? And I like that about it. It does feel like traditional, and it feels cozy, and it does feel like a little witchy house. As you can see me here going crazy with the wisteria. I used to struggle a lot. I mean, I kind of still do a lot of the time when it comes to the wisteria, because you got to think about the way that it would grow. And so I was sort of thinking about that, how would it grow up the house, you know, like it needs to have come from somewhere. So I couldn't just stick a piece of wisteria just chilling on the side of the house with no kind of connection to anything else. So like I tried to keep that in mind and keep all the vines sort of connected, so it looked like it sort of just worked its way over time up the house and around the edges and all that sort of stuff. And I think it works. Like I took a long time with this, and as you can see, I'm using a lot of pieces of the ivy and stuff. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. I think once it's all done, it sort of comes together, and yeah. So now we are moving inside. We are moving on to the kitchen. I decided to go for the cottage living kitchen. Like I said, I wanted this to feel like a little cottage. But this kitchen is actually huge. It's way bigger than I originally was planning it to be, but I just thought it fit into this space really well. Yeah, you can see me sort of playing around with the windows at the moment, because I wanted to get some like overhead cabinets, but obviously the windows that I had were too tall. I love playing around with all the different styles of the cabinets too, seeing how I can sort of like join them all together and make them not look like the same cabinet 5 times, which is a little bit tricky sometimes, but I think I managed to make it work. So that is the kitchen. I do end up putting a little bit of clutter in. I use the Home Chef Hustle tiles in that sort of dark swatch. I had never used that swatch before, and I ended up just really, really liking it. So yeah, I found this teal and I was like, okay, we're going to go for a teal. This is lovely. And then I ended up thinking, what if we bought in like some more blue with it. Instead of trying to go really dark, what if we sort of balance it out with a mixture of like the light and the dark, and the color scheme sort of starts to evolve. I end up finding this particular rug. I think it's the rug from Growing Together. You'll see in a minute when I get to it. But there's a rug from Growing Together that sort of just brings the entire color scheme together. These pendant lights are from the Paranormal pack, which is so random, I know, but I think they just work really well here. They bring that sort of brown, that coppery brown color that's like in the tiles. I think they just work really well. So now we're cluttering up the space. Like I said, we're going for like really cozy, and so lots of clutter is necessary in these kinds of builds, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. I also decided to put a couple of shelves up next to the dining table as well, because I thought that was a nice extra place to add a little bit of extra clutter, just sort of fill the space up a little bit. And I thought it was a nice way to, yeah, just to sort of bring it all together, you know, that bit of timber. I do a lot of mixing of the timbers in this build as well, which I think actually works really well. It sort of depends on the style as to whether or not you can make that work, but I think with this sort of cottagey style, it feels all very sort of natural, and the natural timbers all end up just sort of working together. You know, like some of the timbers have some quite heavy grains in them, and the grains have a bunch of different colors through them. For instance, looking at the floor, you can see that there's like some quite dark grains, but there's also quite a light sort of grain going through that as well. And I think that's the way that you can manage to sort of make all these timbers work together. Paranormal Stuff Pack coming through again with that artwork. Honestly, you can't beat it. I love the Paranormal Stuff Pack. It's just so good. Okay, so now we're working into the living room, and this is where things start to get interesting, because this is where I find that rug. And we sort of turn this sort of like blue and teal and brown and cream color. We sort of just make it all start to fit together, you know? We're going to come across this rug really soon, I promise. So this is a color scheme that I have not really done before. I think it's really interesting. See this rug just here? Oh, I think it just brings everything together so nicely with like that sort of yellowy, bluey, tealy, brown, like it's lovely. So we're moving on to the like entry hall now. Nothing too major goes on in this. I just wanted like a nice mirror, a hall table, maybe a plant, just a little bit of clutter to make it, you know, look like you've got somewhere to put your stuff down when you walk in the door. I used the Journey to Batu plant and I sized it down. I actually thought it looked so cute on the table right there. Genuinely, the plants from the Journey to Batu pack, surprisingly good. Batu comes through with the plants sometime. You know, Batu comes through sometimes. Bit random, but I liked it. I kept it. Yeah, I used one of the Crystal Creations rugs here as sort of like a big sort of doormat. I think it looks really nice. Like I said, I do plan on getting into like crystals with Mon. We'll see how that sort of goes. Oh look, Batu coming through again. Look at us go. Yeah, we'll see how we sort of work into that. I haven't put a crystal table or anything in this build yet, I don't think. Not that I can remember anyway. Okay, so we're working on the office now. I decided to go for this sort of dark tealy blue color in here, which I thought was really nice. We've gone for the Crystal Creations bookshelves because they are the best bookshelves in the game. I decided to bring the rug from the living room into this room to try and use for the color scheme, because I wanted to try and find I wanted to try and keep this entire sort of bottom level cohesive with the color scheme. So we go for that same sort of colors in this office as well. So I wanted to find a rug that sort of matched it. But yeah, it was a bit of a struggle, I'll admit. Like I did not find it easy to find a rug that matched it. I even went through the same rug and was like, is there any other swatches in the same color? It was hard. The Life and Death rugs are really nice. I could use them every day. I think I end up going with this sort of like brown rug swatch of the circular rug from Life and Death. And yeah, we bring in that light blue color with the curtains, which is from the Storybook Nursery kit. I went to call it the Goth Baby kit. It does look like it belongs to a goth baby, so you know. So yeah, we're just doing a little powder room down here. Nothing too fancy, just, you know, sink and a toilet, little shelf above the toilet, nothing too crazy. We use the Crystal Creations mirror and a little candle, a piece of toilet paper. Yeah, we put a little shelf above. Which shelf do I end up using? Just a base game shelf, I think. And I just put a little bit of clutter up here, just some like toilet paper. Nothing too flash, just a little bit of fun stuff. Just enough to sort of, you know, finish off the look of it, and I think it looks really good. So now we are working on Mon's bedroom. Now, The color scheme that I go for in this room is a little controversial. I'm still not certain if I like love it yet either. I mean, I do like it. I think it looks good, but it's very bold. You'll see in a minute what I go for. I don't remember what. I think I give her the love struck. Oh, sorry, the life and death bed. Yeah, I do. So I go for this sort of like teal bed with like these dark blue, the dark blue pillows, and those. You see those pillows that have like the teal, and there's a little bit of like this sort of browny orange on them. That is where we end up. And can I say, I was unsure for a lot of it if I was into this. You can see me playing around with a lot of wallpapers. I did not know what I wanted, but then I found this sort of burnt orange swatch of the Crystal Creations wallpaper. Now, I have never used that swatch before, like ever, but I thought it matched that sort of burnt orangey browny color on the bed like too well, you know what I mean? So I decided to run with it. The entire time I was furnishing this bedroom, I was going back and forth. Obviously, I streamed this live on my Twitch channel when I was building it. And I'm like, chat, what do you think? Chat, do you like this? I don't know if I like it. Chat, what do you think? Chat, I don't know. Chat, huh? Chat. And they were like, it looks fine. Just work. Just do it. And they all seemed to really like it. Again, I was just not sure. Yeah, I struggled a lot with this bedroom. I was just second guessing myself because that is not a color that I would ever use in real life. Like my decor kind of style for real life is beige on beige on beige with maybe a hint of like a blush pink, some natural colors, maybe a nice sage green. I am not a bold colored person in real life. So I do try and really play with the colors in The Sims, and I really try and make some color schemes that are different. This is not something that I've ever done before. I tend to find an item that I really like. For instance, for me, it was this bed. This bed was like the jumping off point for the color scheme. And yeah, I struggle with it the whole way through, but I think I end up making it work. So I bring this sort of same orangey color into the wardrobe. Yeah, I find some swatches of things that I think match okay and, you know, ends up working well to bring it all together. Yeah, I'm happy with how it turned out. It is definitely a little strange and it does take some getting used to, but I think, you know, like that cats and dogs rug works really well with the color scheme. I think it brings it together. You can see me playing around a lot with I'm like armchair. I need an armchair. What armchair do I want? But yeah, we are almost at the end of the speed build here. Again, like the recording kind of messed up. So we are at a point now where I guess we can go and tour the build and I'll show you the bits that we missed. Okay, so here we are. This is the build. It is on the lot called Glimmerbrook Watch. It's just that one blank lot in Glimmerbrook. So you can see from the exterior, we have a lot of like overgrown vines. I have purposely sort of led them all from each of the like bushes collection, like the landscaping sort of collections that I've got going on the ground, and like it looks like the vines are sort of growing up from that. So that's what I've got going on here. There's another big bit here. Yeah, so this is what the exterior looks like. The backyard, there's not really much going on. I kind of just have like a cauldron out here, some planter pots that I plan to like plant some stuff in. I don't really know yet. We do have, my actual Sims have death flowers in their inventories. I will probably plant them in one, probably at least one of them in there. Yeah, so this is the front yard. We have a little mailbox over here. So let's go in and have a look. So this is the front entrance area. As you can see, we have a little tiny sized down Batu plant, which I think actually looks really good, really small. And we also have this plant from Batu, which I thought worked really well. Kind of brought in like the little bit of like orangey texture that the orangey color that they've got going on in the door. But yeah, we have the werewolf's mirror, one of my favorite mirrors in the game actually. I put up some of these picture frames because my Sims have we're already on generation 2, so my Sims actually have a lot of like photos and stuff that they've already started collecting. So I'm going to turn this area into like a little gallery wall. I don't know if I will keep these particular photo frames, but it was kind of just like a reminder for me to like put our photos there. So moving into the living room, we have a nice fireplace, lounges. I love this suitcase book clutter piece. I think it's so nice. This like apothecary table, coffee table thing is from Growing Together, and it's really nice. I don't use it that often because it doesn't often go with the style that I'm working for, but I think it works really, really well in this set. These chairs are from the Cozy Kitsch kit. This is a this is the Jungle Adventure table. I really like this table. I love the sort of like chunky legs. Yeah, moving into the kitchen, we have lots of clutter going on here. I really like this kitchen, hey. It's so different from anything that I normally do. I really like it. Yeah, we have a little powder room in here. Nothing too crazy. Sink, toilet, some shelves, little thing on the wall. Crystal Creations mirror for some towels and a little plant. We also have our office space here. So there's a lot of clutter spots on these shelves. I have purposely left them blank because our Sims have like a lot of like collectible things that we've collected in the first generation that I want to bring in and put in these shelves. So that's why they're blank. Normally I would like clutter them up with pieces, but this is where I wanted to put all that stuff. So I left them blank. Also these little shelves too, I thought would be really cute to have some little clutter stuff on it. Yeah, so that's the office. Again, nothing too crazy going on in any of these rooms. This is the door here that leads out to the backyard. Yeah, when we move upstairs, this is where things you get to see that you haven't seen yet. So this bedroom is the only part of upstairs that you've seen. This is the most controversial room of upstairs, I think, but yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. I think it turned out well. We have a nice little ottoman and mirror over in the corner. I think the orange in these little plants helps bring it all together. We've got some terracotta. I also brought that sort of color scheme into her bathroom. So this is a life and death shower with the green tiles and like that sort of tealy green tiles. We've got a Realm of Magic tile on the wall, but a sort of more orangey kind of color on the floor, which referenced that orange in the room. And I think it sort of ties together nicely as a whole. I ended up using this room as Mia's room. Again, this is very different from Mia's room in the house, but I sort of felt like she kind of was just temporarily here. You know what I mean? She was like, I'm not going to be here long. I'm going to move out real soon. So she sort of just let Mon put whatever she wanted in the room, and she's like, I'll just sleep here. You know what I mean? This room's not really fully Mia coded, I would say, but I still think it's a nice teen room. Very simple, nice double bed. This will become like a nursery for the future child of Mon. I mean, I don't know if she's only going to have one, maybe she'll have two, I don't know. Across here we have the bathroom. Again, I sort of went a little bit with that orangey vibe again, just because like from all the angles that I'm playing at, you can sort of see all of the, when I have my walls cut away, you can see all the different rooms sort of melding together. So I wanted to keep the color schemes fairly cohesive, but this is just a little bit more muted than the bright orange over here. But this is the high school years tile, which I thought worked really well together. Just the base game tile here. These are the same counters that I used in the kitchen. Yeah, I went for this brown swatch on the Growing Together bath. I actually thought worked really well, surprisingly. I think it matches really nicely with that tile. And then moving over here, we have McKinley and Dina's room. Now, I wanted something that was a bit of a statement for them, and I went for this wallpaper. This is actually the same bed that they have in their current house, but I took the color scheme in. The swatch that they have is this swatch, but I ended up giving them this swatch and then went with this like green, this wallpaper's from Lovestruck, and I think this green swatch of this flower wallpaper is so stunning. I paired it with, this is an eco lifestyle. This is one of the rugs that you can craft. So if you get into the career, I can't remember what it's actually called. It's the career that comes with eco lifestyle, and you use like the fabricating machine and you can like make furniture and rugs and stuff. This is one of those. I just pulled it out of debug. I thought it was a really, really nice color. We've got Lovestruck chair over here. There's much more of like a sort of yellow vibe going in here, but I still think as a whole, this whole floor works really well together. So we just have the 3 bedrooms. Obviously, if we decide to have another child and McKinley and Dina are no longer with us, we can use this bedroom as well, but there's always room for expansion. We do have heaps of space out the back, so if I do need to add any extra rooms, I guess I can. But last but not least, we have upstairs. Now, you probably already guessed what is up here. Mon is a spellcaster. The attic is connected to her bedroom, but up here we have our spellcaster attic. So I've got a bunch of stuff that she's going to be needing to use for her everyday spellcaster sort of activities. I'll be honest with you, I haven't playtested this, so we're going to find out in game if this actually like functions, if she can get to these. I haven't playtested it, but this is what it looks like. We have a nice study area. I think I will eventually get her a computer over here, but we are a little tight on cash. So the lot value is 83,000. So it is less than the money that we have, but I wanted to have a little bit of money left over so that we didn't buy this and then have like no money to pay the bills, you know what I mean? So yeah, I kept it to sort of like the 80,000 kind of mark, which was around about how much our current house was worth. So we have like a little cauldron section over here, which is really nice. And we also have another bathroom up here. Now these tiles are from Jungle Adventure, I think. Yeah, Jungle Adventure. They called it a stress ruin, and they have some really interesting swatches. And this sort of like brownie, oops, I just painted another tile. This sort of like brownie orangey tile I thought worked really well with that whole sort of scheme that we have going on. Basically, the whole house is kind of in that realm of teal and blue and cream, and downstairs is much more muted. Upstairs is a little bit more intense, particularly in Mon's room. The rest of the rooms still feel quite muted, and then upstairs I think has the most sort of dark and moodiest kind of area. But I love like all the book stacks and things. Like it just feels very cluttered, and I'm really happy with how this turned out. I've got some shelves up here to put some stuff in if we need to. So yeah, that is the whole build. Please feel free to let me know what you think in the comments down below. Any suggestions on things that you think might need improving, any feedback at all is more than welcome. Please give this video a like if you liked it. It really helps. And give my channel a subscribe if you like my content. You can stay tuned and check out more. I will be linking the playlist of my key family down below if you're interested to actually check out that family. We are currently up to episode 12. This build kind of technically makes it episode 13. I don't know if I'll count this as an episode. This is building the house for our next generation, and the next time I record I will be aging up Mon into a young adult, and we'll be moving into this house and starting generation 2. So very exciting stuff. If you want to catch up on Gen 1, you're more than welcome to, but if you haven't seen that, it's totally fine, because Gen 2 is basically like its own story starting from now anyway, so perfect time to get started if you want to watch it. Yeah, anyway, thank you guys for hanging out with me. I've had so much fun. Hopefully you like my build. If you like my content, I also stream live on Twitch almost every single day. It's just twitch.tv/BeccaMac07. So if you want to come hang out over there, you're more than welcome. Lots of fun is had over there, some gameplay, some building, and lots of chaos. So head on over if you want to join in the fun. Thanks for hanging out with me. I've had a lot of fun, and I'll catch you guys next time. See you later.